Testing 1, 2, 3. Test. Okay. Hello, everybody. I got that set up. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to Forever Conscious Research channel. Just going to do a quick audio check. Last time was horrible. Okay. Seems all right. So I'm going to keep the levels low. Hola. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, last time I thought it was good, but it wasn't. Excuse me. Mayhem, I hate you. What? Oh, well. I've heard others say that. But Mayhem is someone I've known for quite a while. I don't know if he's here or not, but all right. Is just if some of you in the chat can please let me know if the levels sound to go too high and get distorted throughout the stream. If some of you can let me know, I'd appreciate it. It's weird when I'm set up in this location because the mic stand doesn't attach to the desk and I have to put it below me, and sometimes I think it gets messed up. So anyways, so topic of the day, just for editing purposes, I'm going to do another introduction. Hello everybody, welcome back to Forever Conscious Research channel. Hope you're doing well today. Today's topic will again be discussing the Matrix Reincarnation Soul Trap and how it relates to Deathbed Visions, Deathbed Visions, Visitations, Premonitions, and Synchronicities. So, there's a lot to unpack in this one, and I'm going to kind of give rough definitions and in the beginning, and kind of go over a list of things that I typed out. I'm going to pop that up on the screen for us, and we'll go over that. And then I'm going to probably throw in some examples, some of which I experienced myself, not me obviously because I'm alive, but you know, family member. So, and these areas were so impactful for me at the time, and I had known about the trap while my father was dying, and it was crazy to experience these things and know about this. And you know, I'll get into more of that a little later, but so let's just start off with kind of the basics. Well, did I do that right? No, I didn't. Pop that down here. There we go. Okay. Is that coming out all right? Yeah, it looks like it's all right. Even though I already adjusted the borders on the top and bottom, and they still show up. All right, so yeah, as you guys know, I have a backup channel. I have an Odyssey channel. Feel free to subscribe to those. They're in the description tab, and there will be Odyssey exclusive live streams in the coming weeks ahead. So again, topic of the day: Deathbed Visitations, Premonitions, Synchronicities, and Visions inside of the Matrix Reincarnation Soul Trap. So we'll start off with the premonition of death. That's like a deep inner knowing, a sensing, or a feeling that you or someone close to you is going to die. This is a very common and it statistically defies the odds of just being some fluke. If you look on the internet, you will see tons and tons of stories. I even interviewed a very, very lovely person, Cheryl McKenzie, who had lost her son. And I'm echoing. Hold on. Gotta be kidding me. Hold on. Alright, whoever's breaking my balls out there, there's no echo. Alright. Okay. Anyways, so yes, premonition of death. A deep inner knowing, a sensing, a feeling that you or someone close to you is going to die. It's very common, and it statistically defies the odds of just being some fluke. Now, as I was saying, I interviewed a very lovely woman by the name of Cheryl McKenzie. Part of those interviews are on YouTube. There is another section that I thought I published, but I went back when I was looking today and realized that I didn't publish the next installment of that. Or it was actually a longer interview, and I divided it up into two parts. First part was her testimony, anyways, and then the second part was our interview. Point is we talked about there were some weird synchronicities even with her and I, and her son had passed away, but she had premonitions of his death prior. And it's a very, very sad and touching story. And Cheryl, if you're out there, much love to you, sister. I hope you're doing well. I know you watch once in a while, but mostly are behind the scenes. But I hope you're well out there. And for anyone who wants to check that out, I will pop the link in the description later on. And I'm also going to include a bunch of sources that I recommend reading, checking out, etc. So part B here. Transmission or realization can occur in the form of a dream or while completely lucid, alert, and awake. So you have two different areas there, and it varies greatly. The other thing is you can have multiple premonitions of your death as well. So it could theoretically in the beginning start off as a dream, and then you also have the premonition later on, or days, weeks, months later, while you're completely lucid. And it's like the most knowing of knowing that you'll have. So visions and visitations prior to death. The bulk of the experiences appear as loved ones who are already deceased. There are exceptions, such as close friends and associates, who also show up, but most of the time it is family. Key thing here, the big takeaway, is that those who appear have all been dead prior. Okay, so they're already dead. Every single occurrence of these visions and visitations are always, the family members are already dead. Okay, so if I'm dying on my deathbed and I see my father, okay, he's already dead. That's who I'm going to see. My mother's alive, I'm not going to see my mother. Okay, so that's a huge thing, and this fact proves beyond any doubt that these are not just some freaky brain processing issue or hallucinations. Skeptics, of course, overlook this crucial data point and instead prefer swimming in the deep end of their cognitive dissonance. And I just don't have time for that crap. Don't care. Skeptics want to do what they want to do, just like with all this material, really. Okay, so B. These are... what did I do here? Okay, so yeah, these are not as common as family members, but other beings can also appear in the form of angels, religious or spiritual figures like Jesus, any form of deity archetype, etc. And then you, of course, have demons, which obviously is some truth, but it's still a deception, because what almost always ends up happening is if someone is having some sort of dark experience, it ends up turning good. So they may start off as seeing some sort of demonic figure, and then eventually they'll be, grandma, grandpa, mother, father, whoever, their old friend will appear and work on ushering them in. Now, an interesting case that I ran across about that I would say, first off, let's just get this out there, that all of these things, including, it doesn't matter, family, angels, religious, spiritual figures, demons, doesn't matter who the hell it is, okay? Best friend, whoever it is, they are there to act as the middleman to ushering you in. And I'm going to get into that a little bit further. And they work as the go-between, okay? They are the one that the Matrix relies on to get you to consent. So you see how crucial this moment is. Because it's not only, like we see in near-death experiences, now these are two different things, we have to keep that in mind. Near-death experiences, the people are gone, okay? They're out, they're clinically dead, okay? In these situations, they are alive, most of the time completely lucid, and capable of communication. Not always, communication-wise, but they're understandable. The other weird thing that happens, especially like with Alzheimer's patients, things like that, they will have this weird moment where, they've been, fried for months, if not maybe even a few years. And they'll have this completely lucid moment where they are making complete sense. The whole family around them understands everything that they're saying, everything that they're conveying, and it's like they were their old self. That's another weird thing, which, and I don't want to veer too off track. That's kind of why I wrote this, so I didn't want to go too much off track, but I think these are important things to discuss, so I'm going to just say a little bit more on this. The fact... Just really, really think about this. The mere fact that someone who is completely in a degraded state with something like Alzheimer's, dementia, things like that, okay? And they're at the end of their life, okay? And the fact that they can come out of that and be completely lucid, floor the family and friends around them and be able to have a full-on conversation with them is wild, okay? And just think about this. If they're capable of doing such a thing, it goes to questioning. The logical line of questioning would be, what the hell is the brain? If they're able to tap into that and communicate fully, like their old selves after being in such a horrible state mentally, most likely incapable of any sense of a normal conversation for many months, if not years, then what the hell is the brain? If you can have a completely lucid moment like that and be able to come out of something that you're literally dying of and just be your normal self, that really involves some deep thinking about exactly what the hell is going on. So I just wanted to add that. I know I kind of went off track, but I think it's a really important thing just to think about. Okay, see. These experiences can be reoccurring, but they can also vary. Okay. Now, with what I've noticed in these accounts, they reoccur okay, so you have the initial experience. And in that experience, let's just say it starts off with like it may start with like a premonition, okay, about themselves, about what's going to happen to them. They know that their time is near. And oftentimes they're just told that flat out, your end is near. It's almost time for you to go home, yada, 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 okay? Now, this is kind of going to tap in with something I was going to discuss later, but the reoccurring aspect to this is it's a conditioning process. It's a process to comfort the person. It also is sorry, I'm kind of jumbling up my words here. It's a process that, sorry, I just lost my train of thought here. All right, so they have these experiences, and they continue. With some people, like I said, they continue to happen. And it may start off as a visitation from mom or dad, and it'll be like a healing period, okay? Where, let's say the son or daughter had a really rocky relationship, and let's say they didn't talk for, most of their adulthood. They were with them as a child, but once they turned 18, they were out of the house, they were done with them, blah, blah, for whatever reason. And there's this entity that comes in the form of the mother or the father and works on the forgiveness aspect to it. Then there could be the aspect of some inner turmoil that the person has that is unresolved, okay? That they just have kept inside of them, for relatively recent, but most of the time it seems that these inner turmoil events in life are things that like plague the person, basically, okay? So it could be the fact that they did something really screwed up. Maybe they murdered someone and nobody knows, some weird thing, okay? Some really, really deep thing. And it doesn't even have to be something like murder. It could be whatever the hell is emotionally fucking them in the head, that's got them completely wrapped in the situation. Now, I will say that most of the time, it's particularly the people that believe in the heaven-hell construct and the karmic construct. Excuse me, I'm just dicing up my words today. Just bear with me, I apologize. So that kind of just explains where I was going with that and how there could be multiple experiences that reoccur, and there's, a guide or guides, usually family members who have passed, always people have passed, but usually family members, and they are helping get that person comfortable with the process. And it is a conditioning. There's no doubt about it. It's a way to ease the blow and make sure that you're going to play ball when it's time to cross over. You're going to do what you're told. Now, the time periods of the visions or visitations can vary anywhere from hours, days, or even months prior to the person actually passing. I've seen some that go out a little over a year. So, but that's not as common. There's just some out there that I've seen. It doesn't mean that that's standard. I would say, it's more along hours, days, 3 to 6 months, somewhere in that range. Okay. The other terms that can be used for vision and visitations prior to death could be departing vision or visitation. Another term for number 3 would be end of life experience. The abbreviated term for that is ELEs. Deathbed vision, which is number 4, is abbreviated term is DBV. So if you're looking for some more information on this and would kind of like to look down the research angle of it, then these are just some additional terms that abbreviated terms that you might not otherwise be familiar with. So I just wanted to put those up there just in case. Number 5, synchronicities and death. Woo! Okay. This one was huge in my life, and I'm going to get into that. Okay, so A. Random occurrences, events, or coincidences are related to a death or upcoming death. Okay. B. Like visions and visitations, these synchronicities can occur hours, days, or even months prior to the person's passing. I'll get into my experience right after I go over Carl Jung's What is Synchronicity. I love Carl Jung's work, and I just thought I'd go over some of this just to really drive it home. It's about a page. Okay, so the term synchronicity is coined by Jung to express the concept that belongs to him, a casual connection of 2 or more psychic and physical phenomena. This concept was inspired to him by a patient's case that was in a situation of impasse in her treatment. Her exaggerated rationalism was holding her back from assimilating unconscious materials. And I think that's really important, that second one, because when you're too rigid, you're not really going to be, obviously you're not going to be as open to, for example, the Matrix Reincarnation Soul Trap, heck, even paranormal and, all sorts of things that are going on here that are otherwise, shit on by the mainstream. And that just carries on. So just to kind of go off a little bit on that. Okay. Next point would be one night the patient dreamt of a golden scarab. The next day, during the psychotherapy session, a real insect hit against Jung's cabinet window. Jung caught it and discovered surprisingly that it was a golden scarab, a very rare presence for that climate. I remember reading that the first time. I was like, whoa. Next point would be one generally speaks about coincidence in cases like this. Personally, I don't believe in coincidences at all. Next would be, but this coincidence is not senseless, a simple one. By using the amplification method, Jung searches for materials in connection with the scarab and comes to the concept of death and rebirth from the esoteric philosophy of antiquity. Next, thus the scarab is seen as a symbol of deaths and rebirth process that, in a symbolic way, the patient should experience for the realization of the completeness of her unilateral personality, the cause of the neurosis she was suffering from. Gotta love this, right? I mean, this is a really well-written analysis of it. And it's not mine. I'll leave it. I have a source at the bottom, and I'm going to include it later too. So, finally, Jung talks about the significant coincidences of physical and psychological phenomena that are acasually connected. Behind all these phenomena, he places the constellation of an archetype which, in his view, engages equally objective manifestations in the physical world and subjective ones inside the individual's psyche. Jung wrote a book on synchronicity together with theoretical physicist Nobel laureate W. Pauli, providing proof for his concept. Synchronicity, as an expletive theory, applies to phenomenon from the area of parapsychology, premonition, telepathy, dreams, and so forth. So you can see, and here's a source, you can see how obviously this is a really, really important thing to tie in with all of this. Now, let me just double check here. Okay. Now, what I wanted to talk about briefly was my experiences with my father and how freaking profound they were. Okay? First off, we'll talk... Sorry, actually I'm going to rewind. We're going to talk about the premonition of my father's death. Now, the morning before his death, I woke up and I knew. I said I have to go and see my dad today. I know he's most likely not going to make it through the night. Okay? So then what happens is I get to the synchronicity aspect of it. Okay? So first, there's the premonition that he's going to die. Second is the insane synchronicities. Now, I know I've talked about this before, and I apologize for anyone who's heard it, but it's a very profound moment, and it all ties in with today's video, so I'm going to just say it again. Okay. So, I get the premonition. I pack up my crap in the car, say, okay, gotta go. I start driving towards my dad's house. I see spread out through. Now, mind you, the drive is about, I think it was about, I don't know, maybe 45 miles, 50 miles, about an hour drive, a little over an hour drive. All back roads going up there. I run into about something like 3 or 4 dead squirrels, completely spread out. And I also run into like 3 or 4 raccoons spread out as well. I'm talking miles and miles of difference between the death. Okay, so I'm seeing all this death going up to my dad. Okay, now this is and just it obviously ties in with the topic, so I have to explain this next part. When I go to my father, I asked to have the room cleared because I wanted to be with him alone. And so he's lying there now. He had a disease, a thing called Prions disease. It's very, very rare. Okay, basically, it's a guaranteed death sentence. Basically, he had They said 3 to 6 months max to live. He ended up lasting about 2 years. So I'm sitting next to him, and the whole way up, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I have to tell my dad about the Matrix Reincarnation Soul Trap. Now, this was in 2018 when I told him. And I told him, and he was just staring at me the whole time. Couldn't say anything. And when I told him about the Soul Trap, he started crying. You know, just, he wasn't like, wah, just tears, you know, coming down his eyes. And at first I was taken back because I really didn't, I mean, it's like, what do you do? I mean, you're telling someone on their deathbed who, you know, really wasn't religious, but became religious later in life because of his whore of a wife and all her manipulation. There's a whole thing that went on there. But anyways, you know, and at first I felt bad that I told him. And then I'm like, no, fuck that. This has to be said. This is the best thing I can ever tell him in my life. That doesn't mean that it's going to work, right? But I had to tell him. And something came over me where, like, I knew that he knew already or something. Something weird like that. Now, mind you, again, I don't want to veer too off track with this because... But what the hell? It's, you know, it's related to the video. It's related to the topic, and I think it's important. I felt just prior to his diagnosis. Now, mind you, he died in 2018, was diagnosed in 2016. And there was just all sorts of weird shit going on those 2 years. Insane, non-stop synchronicities, okay? I mean, it was every single day, multiple times a day, utterly non-stop. Now, I felt there was some guidance from exterior going on with my path, okay? And so at that moment, a few minutes after I had told him about the trap, the reincarnation trap, I felt like almost like he played a part in it. I mean, I know it was, you know, a lot of meditation, reflection, inner work, I was working on out-of-body experiences and lucid dreaming at the time a lot. And I was just having insane paradigm shifts for quite a few years. And something told me in that moment that, like, he was part of that. So, you know, I just thought I'd share that. I can't, there's nothing I can ever say that will prove anything or put it into better context. I know it's kind of like off, but, you know, that's the best way I can explain it to you. Now, so I told you, going there, I saw the 3 or 4 dead squirrels, and then I saw, you know, 3 or 4 dead raccoons. Now, I take a different way home. This is where it gets crazy, even crazier, okay? I see another, I think it was like 4 squirrels and like 2 or 3 dead raccoons spread out throughout the whole damn ride home. Now this is next part. I get off I don't get off. I'm sorry. I'm pulling up to my exit off the highway because I took the highway home this time. About a half a mile, quarter mile before the exit off ramp, the traffic's backed up. Okay, it's just complete stop on the opposite side, and on my side, it's pretty much come to a snail's pace. We're just slowly moving. Now, as we get closer to my exit, maybe a few hundred feet or something at this point. So on the opposite side of the highway, going southbound towards New York City, there is this Jeep flipped over, okay? And I knew right away they were dead, okay? Or at least I knew someone was dead in that vehicle, okay? Now, the weird part is that this thing in the sky comes down the highway, okay? Hovers over the Jeep, puts this kind of light over it, and I see something kind of just, it's just like a light, but you can see there's just something weird about it, all right? And then the thing goes on like on an angle like this and shoots off going northeast, okay? And just up into the sky and gone, okay? So I was like, holy shit. I was like, as if I needed any more confirmation that, as if it wasn't crazy enough when I first was driving up there, let alone coming back, experiencing all of that, getting off the exit, and I knew someone in that car was dead. I go to sleep, and wake up. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I didn't. I'm leaving something major out. I go to sleep at about, I don't know what time it was. I got back really late, but I think I went to bed maybe about like midnight or 1 o'clock, something like that. Now I think it was like 3:30 or 4, something like that. I have it written down somewhere. I forgot the exact time, but who cares, right? It was still dark out, okay? Now I hear something go, like bang, up against the window, like slam. I turn my head in like a daze. Now I usually leave the blind up when I was there. And I just see something whiz by. I couldn't make out anything, okay? But it was like a bang, and then just like a small little bang, and then something goes, whoosh, just goes by. And that was it, okay? Now I wake up the next morning, I think it was, I don't know, maybe 9, something like that. And I find out that the person who died in the Jeep accident was a neighbor's daughter about, I don't know, right down the street, like maybe 2 blocks away, okay? And I find out that she was the one that died in the Jeep accident. And then at 11 o'clock noon, I was about 11:30 or noon, I get the call that my father had died at 11 a.m. So all of this stuff happened in the span of under 24 hours. Or maybe a little bit longer, because he died at 11 a.m. And I knew the moment I woke up the day before that I had to go. The second I woke up, I knew. So I would say maybe about 30 hours. So that just goes to the whole synchronicities and death. And my story is so common, it's not even funny. It's just the version of my experience that I had. Now, there are tons of people here that will have maybe already experienced something similar or will experience something similar down the road. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, where were we here? And if you guys had any stories that you're sharing, I'm sorry, I just haven't been able to keep up with the chat because I'm going back and forth with this document here. I hope you're all doing well, and I appreciate you listening today and hearing some of my experiences with this. But if any of you in there are sharing your experience, can you just at me, so my name highlights, and then later on when I go back to the chat, I'd like to read some of what you guys have to share on the stream, if you're okay with that. Well, I'd assume if you're sharing in the chat, you're okay with that. All right, so we're getting to the latter half here. So a couple data points and the manipulation of consent. Note, not everyone will experience every single one of these. In my case, I experienced 3 of the 4 that we were talking about before. Okay, so 1, departing visions and visitations, being visited by. Now, I like to kind of put this as like the buttering up phase, okay, inside the Matrix Reincarnation Soul Trap. A, primarily these experiences almost always consist of deceased loved ones, kind of like what we talked about before. You also have, close friends, angels, spiritual entities like Jesus, and in rare cases, demons appear like we had talked about. Now, a good example that I was going to bring up earlier, but knew we were going to talk about it here, is something about close friends. Now, there was a very profound account that I read I think it was about 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, of this guy who was having, I might be able to find it for you guys, and if I can, I will post it in the comment section later. So if you're watching the stream right now, maybe check back about 48 hours from now. If you're watching the replay, check the pinned comment in the comment section. I will try my best to find this account, but I'll just give you what I remember off of it. There was this guy who was dying. Okay, and he got very close with a hospice nurse. And hospice nurses are some of the most beautiful people out there. And if I had my choice of picking a career now, or back when I was younger, I probably would have picked that. Because I really think it's an honor to be able to be in that profession and help people. And the work they do is incredible. Anyways, so this guy got into the army at a very young age. I think, obviously like 18 or something like that. And I think it was Vietnam. Okay, so they go, he and his platoon get sent off to Vietnam, and he admits that he screwed up with some sort of protocol with basically like, how you protect your brothers type thing, no man left behind, that type of thing, okay? And he should have basically had one of his army buddies' backs, and the guy died. Okay, he got shot by somebody. Okay, and died, and he took this with him his entire life. It was one of those things like we were talking about earlier, that just plague a person. They really, really bother the person. And it eats them inside most of their life, knowing that they were responsible for, in this case, their army buddy's death, because they should have been there. Now, you want to see how sick the manipulation is with what we're talking about. And this even goes to the part where I talked about how there are these repetitive interactions and experiences, visions, visitations. Okay, this is one of those cases. So his army buddy appears to him, okay, in the last few weeks of his life, and the army buddy sends this guy back in time. Now, mind you, the army buddy appears completely young, refreshed, his old self, beautiful, complete tip-top shape, and what this entity does to the guy on his deathbed, he makes him relive the experience, okay? And it was gut-wrenching, okay? And the he told the hospice nurse all about it. I mean, the way she tells it is incredible. I really hope I can find it for you guys. But anyways, she tells the whole story about, how it was, it was exactly what the guy needed. If I recall, he didn't have any family or friends left at that point, and basically he was alone. But this was the one thing that he needed to resolve. And so the entity makes him relive the experience of when the, army guy got shot and died. And then there's this whole forgiving process, okay? And it's just, yes, the guy left this world content that this was resolved. But this is such a textbook example of some of the shit going on in terms of manipulation. Now, another story I've shared, and this is similar, and you'll hear these regularly. And I'm not gonna actually tell I'm not just gonna go into a whole story about it, but I'm gonna give you the synopsis of what's going on. Now, you will have, and I'm sorry, this is going to be another repeated story, but we talked about this in the Life Between Lives series. You can have let's just say a son, for instance, okay, who is heavily abused by his father, beatings, who knows, we can use your imagination about the worst shit, ends up, turning 18, getting out into the world, disconnects from his father, whoever is doing the beatings, and never talks to him again. Now, the son reaches an old age, he's on his deathbed, and guess who comes to visit him? Good old Papa, okay? The one who beat the shit out of him, made his life miserable as a child, and completely got him out of his life, disconnected, was a better person for it, knew it was the most healthy option for him, and all of a sudden, There's this overwhelming love, overwhelming forgiveness that is placed upon this person. This is so textbook, it's not even funny. Okay? Because what's going on here, I won't say in all cases, but in most cases, what's going on here is there's this love bomb, kind of like what happens in near-death experiences. It's so similar, it's not even funny, except it's happening, on, when the person's alert and awake and alive. And the forgiveness happens, and it's either one of two things. Either the father is the one who's going to usher him in, or it's such a deep-seated issue that it needed to be cleared in order to guarantee, the manipulation over to the light and onto the other side. Because we cannot forget that all of this is happening. All of it is happening for one reason and one reason only. And that's to have you release your consent, relinquish your consent to something else, and move on to the tunnel, the light, the life review, whatever the hell the next process is for that individual. Okay? The void, then the light, then the life review, whatever the hell it is. Okay? The point is these damn things are happening for one reason, and that is to get your ass to where the system wants you. And it's all consent. All of it. Every last bit of it is about taking your consent away. So you see how there's this little priming process going on? Before death. We talk about near-death experiences where the people are clinically dead and they're having these experiences and there's all this fuckery going on. Well, guess what? They work on this shit when, you're lucid, alert, awake. Okay. That's my rant on that part. All right. I'm going to touch a little bit more here. Okay, so number 2, the communication begins. A, they start talking to the entities inside the room. B, family, friends, nurses, and or doctors who are present. Sorry, I should have typed that out better. Very rarely see these entities inside the room, with the exception of those who have moved into a shared death experience, which is SDEs, and that is a separate topic which will be covered in a different video. We can't go too far off track with that type of stuff, but I think it's really important to state that these experiences are happening to the individual. Those surrounding the person dying are not necessarily experiencing any of it. Okay? Sometimes you'll hear things about people saying like they'll see, like a mist or they may feel a little weird, or this most of the time it's hands off completely. They just think, grandpa's, talking to the ceiling, this and that, until they start asking questions. And hopefully if they start asking questions, they're open-minded enough, okay, to pry a little more. And, go and look at the comment sections, okay? You go look at comment sections for anything. Near-death experiences, shared death experiences, deathbed premonitions, deathbed visions, shared death experiences, visitations, you name it, doesn't matter. Pick any of these topics. Go search them on YouTube. Go search them in websites that host these things, these accounts by family and friends who were there and present. You'll see tons of them. Pages and pages and pages. If you just look on YouTube in the comment section alone, for any of these things, you will see tons of random people just telling about their experience or explaining the experience that their loved one had right before they died. Okay? There's just, the evidence is out of control, overwhelming. There's so much of it. The fact anyone could be a skeptic is just proves they're ignorant. That's all it proves. It doesn't, they got cognitive dissonance and they truly have not looked into it. Anyone who actually looks into this stuff will see that, is everybody lying? No. The thousands and thousands and thousands, millions probably of these documented things. All right. I've seen thousands upon thousands of them. All right. These are people, these are random people on YouTube. They're not hawking books. They're not hawking DVDs. They're not hawking seminars and conferences and contact in the desert and all this horse shit. All right. No, they're a regular guy like you and I, most of them with no video, no profile in their channel, nothing. And they're just sharing their experience about their mother, their father, their brother, their son, their daughter. And you just see repetitive patterns constantly, over and over and over. Anyway, so that's my little rant to the skeptics. Okay, state of mind, number 3. State of mind can fluctuate and vary. It may start off as frightening. Okay, doesn't always happen this way. It's a coin flip. It all goes to the person's state of mind. How they have perceived life, how they are perceiving these moments. But B, if frightening, in the majority of cases, the experience turns to a calming and peaceful experience, which of course is part of the bait and switch tactic to suck you in. Okay, so it's kind of, I don't want to veer off into near-death experiences too much. I'm trying to keep them separate, but I'm going to bring it up. Near-death experiences, the same type of tactic is used, where if most of the time these aren't the cases, but if a person is having a hell-like NDE, they will eventually end up in a loving, beautiful, godly, saintly, incredible experience towards the back end or halfway through or whatever, so that's just very common. So what do we see here? We see the same thing, where if a person is having a frightening experience early on, then it turns to a calming and peaceful, I should put loving in there too, because there's a love bomb involved, loving experience, and that goes to the bait and switch. It's so blatant. Okay, so C, the person dying will then usually be eager to go, and often claims that they want to go home, or they have to go on they have a trip to take. Okay, that's a huge part of it. They always say they want to go home, or they have a trip to take. That's what they're telling their loved ones. Okay. D, projections of loved ones is facilitating the crossover, like we just talked about. Excuse me. And E, this is where consent comes into play in a major way. And I already kind of touched on that. But, it couldn't be anything more important than everyone here listening needs to understand that it is all about consent. I will keep saying it. I don't care how many videos I say it in, because that's what got us here, okay? That's why we're here, okay? We consented. That doesn't mean we didn't consent through deception and manipulation, because that's obviously what's going on. I mean, it couldn't be more obvious, right? So just remember, consent's the whole ball game. And I've had people, leave comments, God bless them, no big deal. I understand, everyone, has to, go through their process. But I've had people say things like, well, what if we didn't consent here? What if we didn't? Everything points to consent. Everything. Now, it's just a matter of when you start to see it. It may take a little time to see it. You got to go through all this and see that, a lot of times these people are being told, but when, particularly in near-death experiences, they're being told something, but they're agreeing, okay? And the ones that might not agree, when you listen to them, when you listen to them, they always give themselves away that they consented, or that they don't remember, okay? So not remembering doesn't mean they didn't consent. It just means that they don't remember that they consent. You're not going to run across someone who says, no, I didn't want to do this. But if they might initially say that they said no to whatever the freaking entity is calling the shots or telling them what to do. But they will always give themselves away that they consented in some form. Oh, wow, there's a parrot outside my window. Wonder if I can show it to you guys. You guys want to see it? Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see that, can you? Ah, no, that's right. I got it. There's no zoom on this. Oh! I guess I shouldn't have done that. That's cool. Yeah, they come maybe twice a year. Sorry about that. I wish I could have showed you guys. Okay. So sorry about that. I didn't mean to throw the camera all over the place. I was hoping I could. Okay. Anyways. All right. So the consent. That's the big problem. Yes, I do not consent. Live it, love it, embrace it, say it as much as you're comfortable saying it. I would try and just, constantly, just not constantly, but regularly, assert it. Because the whole point, in my opinion, would be to the whole point is to get that nailed into your subconscious. You want to you want that narrative running as much as possible. So you're going to be, boom, immediately able to tap into it when you're crossing over. There's someone I listened to, I don't remember who it was, but basically I loved their version. They said you want to make yourself as incompatible with the Matrix as possible. You want to be a liability to the Matrix, which I think most of us are. But, we're on we're a small scale liability. But nonetheless, liability. They don't want assholes like us here. We're not assholes. I'm sorry. Well, yes, we will be assholes to the system, right? But we're all very good people who mean well and have good intentions and just want to get the fuck out of here. Night Sky, you taking off? Yeah, good night. Nice seeing you, sister. I hope you're well. And we'll do our video whenever you got some time. Don't worry about it. Go enjoy your solitude. All right, so we're getting towards the end of this part here. Let's see. So yeah, for premonition of your own death, a family member or friends And then there's also the avoidance of possible death, okay? Which I'll get into a little bit more. Particularly Cheryl, one of Cheryl's stories, which was a really, really great example of it. Okay, so a sudden vision in your mind via a dream or lucid waking state, okay, which we talked about before. And then B could be the dream can be symbolic and vary, but extremely impactful on the person. C would be a lucid waking state, which is often incredible and impactful as well. Now I want to pull up, if I have, that's right, I don't have it here. Let me see. I forgot I closed that browser. If I can bring it up, I will. You know what? Let me, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna show you part of Cheryl's testimony. But what I'm gonna do, need to take a break anyways. We're going over an hour, so let me just go refill my water. I'm gonna put the break clock on, which is about 5.5 minutes. I may take a little bit longer than that, but I'd like to play Cheryl's story, what she experienced with her friends, or her son. I think she even talks about her friends in this clip too, and I'm gonna pop that up for you guys to listen to. It's wild. And again, Cheryl, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well. So give me about, I'm going to try to get it done in the 5.5 minutes. If not, just hang in there a little bit longer, maybe a minute or two, maybe 6-7 minutes. And I'm going to pop up the clock right now. And then after that, I will open up the phone lines for anyone that wants to call in. So if you would like to call in, I'd love to have you join us. And let me just pop that up there. All right, there we go. All right, so if you'd like to call in after I share Cheryl's story after the break, that would be great. And we'll have a little chat, and I'll go through the text chat as well, and I'll open up my Skype and Discord after that. So hang in there for a few minutes. We'll be right back. Thanks for sharing your day with me, and much love. See you in a couple minutes. All right. Thank you for your patience. I am going to get this up on the screen. Just take one moment. Sometimes it's a pain in my ass. Sometimes it's not. Let's see here. Is this okay? Of course, it's not showing. Let's see if this works. I gotta figure out how to work on this stuff while I'm on break. There we go. Thank you. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm going to try and maximize the window for you so you get the better view here. Okay. Okay, here we go. So what you're going to hear is Cheryl's experience. I'm going to play a few minutes of this. And Cheryl, again, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well, my friend. I'm just going to do a quick audio check, make sure she's all right on here. And if it's good, I'm just going to let it keep playing. All right. Yeah.
But let me just tell you, I had the weirdest things. See, there was a lot of things going on before my son's death.
I was going to ask you that.
This.
Okay.
2 months before my son died, I had a vivid dream of his accident.
2 months before?
It was in, yes, it was November. It was the 1st of November. Like the first week, I think it was around the 7th or 8th of November.
Okay.
I woke up at 6:30 in the morning crying so hard. Like I was just beside myself. Okay. Called my very best friend in a hysteric panic, crying, saying, I've had the worst dream ever. Dream ever, and I think it's they had as far as details.
Yeah.
But let me just tell you, I had the weirdest things. See, there was a lot of things going on before my son's death.
I was going to ask you that.
This.
Okay.
2 months before my son died, I had a vivid dream of his accident.
2 months before?
It was in, yes, it was November. It was the 1st of November. Like the first week, I think it was around the 7th or 8th of November.
Okay.
I woke up at 6:30 in the morning crying so hard. Like I was just beside myself. Okay. Called my very best friend in a hysteric panic, crying, saying, I've had the worst dream ever. worst dream ever, and I think it's not a dream. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I said, Heather, this is going to sound really crazy, but I think my son is going to be killed in a car accident. And she said, Cheryl, what is going on with you? She was like, that is just ridiculous. And I told her the dream. I told her everything I saw in the dream. She said, well, let's just hope it was a dream and not a premonition. You know, and went on with it.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry. Go ahead.
As we got closer, it seemed like every day that gut feeling, that intuition just got harder and made me sick. And of course, I never said anything to my son because I didn't want him to be freaked out, you know, that, you know, I mean, it was one of those I didn't know. I thought I was kind of torn. Do I tell my son and try to prevent it? Or do I not say anything and it not happen? You know, one of those things. Because, you know, they say psychologically you kind of create. So I was really trying to hold it down and not think about it.
Of course.
Christmas, he came. We had a great Christmas. The whole family was together. My middle daughter had just moved to Maine, and she had came back for Christmas. So we were all together. Okay. On the 26th, he left and went home, and I left and went home. You know, we went our separate ways because I live in Texas and he was living in Oklahoma. And that day, for some reason, I thought that was the day it was going to happen. After he left, I remember hugging him really hard and telling him to be careful. But after he left, it was probably about 30 minutes into his trip. He called and said, Mom, he was like, did I leave my watch there? And I said, yeah, I'll mail it to you. And he said, okay, well, I said, son, please be careful. I said, I just have a bad feeling today. I said, watch the idiots out on the road. And he said, okay, I am. He said, traffic's good right now. You know, we just talked. He goes, I'll call you whenever I get home. I'm like, all right, great. And he did. He made it. Now, this was the 26th of December. I don't know why I thought that day was going to be it. I just had that gut feeling. Well, the day before the actual accident, it was a Friday night, the 25th of January. He had called me. Every night he called me after work. That was just our thing. It was, we talked every evening. Usually it wasn't a long talk. Usually it was, 20, 30 minutes. Check in, and go on. That night, it was a Friday night, like I said. 10 o'clock at night, he calls me, and we talked until almost 1:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Which was so odd for us to stay on the phone that long talking about things. And it was like life things that we were planning our future. We had a lot of plans together. And it was just a great conversation. That following Monday, I was supposed to go meet his girlfriend and a friend of his that he had wanted me to meet.
I'm sorry, you said, when were you supposed to meet the friend?
This was on a Friday. Okay. I was supposed to meet him that following Monday.
Oh, the following Monday, okay.
For dinner, to meet his girlfriend and his friend. He had a mechanic friend that he wanted me to meet. And I was like, great, see you at dinner, and he said, well, we had some other things that we had talked about that night, and he said, find out and let me know. And I said, I will, son. Next morning, I got up, found out some information, gave him a short text telling him that one of my friends that was going to help him with the business idea had agreed and wanted him to call him so that they could do lunch either on Sunday or Monday. And he said, sure, no big deal. He said, I'll call him after work because he was at work that day. And that was the last time I spoke to my son. Had no feeling. For some reason, that feeling of something was going to happen wasn't there. Yeah. So that evening, I was in town where I have two homes. Where my youngest daughter lives is my other house in Oklahoma. Okay. I go back and forth from. Anyway, I had gotten there that evening, and the neighbor next door met me at my car and said, hey, Cheryl, did you hear about my son? Because I hadn't been home in a month. And I said, no, I didn't. What happened? He had a 22-year-old son that had just been killed in a car accident. And he was telling me the story. Now, this was at about 5 o'clock that he was telling me the story in the evening and going into detail about it. And after I got done talking to him, I walked into the house and I told my daughter, I said, did you know that Chris's son was killed in a car accident? She said, I heard that. She said, I didn't realize it was his son. And I said, I can't imagine losing a child. You know, I was just very emotional from hearing that news. And then my phone rings.
Jesus. Excuse me, language.
And yeah, here's the thing. At this moment, where that phone rang, it was like deja vu. That dream was happening, and I seen it.
Before you picked it up, like as it was ringing?
Yeah. I said, because that's where my dream started.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Okay, so everything was playing out, and his dad was calling me. His dad never called me. I knew. I was crying before I answered the phone because I knew. Oh, my
God.
And I was already broke because I knew that it had happened. And when he said the words he said, it was everything that I had dreamt. Every detail I had in that dream was every detail of his accident.
Wow.
I saw every bit of it. Everything. In that dream.
Okay. So, as you can tell with Cheryl's story, it fits the bill completely of everything. And Cheryl is a wonderful human being, and you know, I'm always thinking about you, Cheryl, and I hope you're doing well out there. And if you're watching, and Lee, I know Cheryl personally. Okay, we've had hours and hours and hours of conversation. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that. Anyways, as you can see, she checks off all the boxes, and she even talked about in the interview with me, I think it was still in that, you know what I'll do, I'll pop a link in there for you guys if any of you want to check it out, and I'll also include it in the comment section pinned with all the other sources I'd like to have you consider taking a look at. There we go. Cheryl's. Okay, so there's that. Sorry, I'm just trying to collect my thoughts here. So Cheryl had a premonition. She also had visions and a visitation from Logan. She had a litany of synchronicities, and she also had after-death communication. She checked all the boxes off to a T. And she's very open-minded, and we've had some deep discussions about the fabric of reality. And she's, from everything I can tell, on board with the whole, you know, much of it being a deception, this and that. But what she experienced, and like most people experience, it was as real as it can get. Now, when we talk about these things, it's very difficult when it hits home, right? I mean, when it's in your personal life, and when it's with loved ones, in this case Cheryl's young son, Logan, it's, you got to be sensitive to this type of experience. I have photos of, she sent me of Logan in a mirror. The other thing Cheryl experienced was, she's had premonitions on and off through a large portion of her life. She talked to me about a premonition she had when she was, I think, with her husband or boyfriend. And Cheryl, if you're listening, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was at the time, but I think it was your husband, where you were on a motorcycle trip. And she had gotten a sudden blast of information where she knew there was going to be an accident in her, and she was the group of motorcycle riders. And she tapped on her husband's back, telling him to slow down, slow down. And had she not done that, she would have died. The person in front of her lost his life. And they made it out fine. But she got some sort of communication, premonition, that, okay, I need to notify my husband, tap on his back, and get out of there. And have him slow down. He slowed down. I think, if I recall, I apologize if, I forget this, but I think the person ahead of her had hit a truck or something like that. The other thing is, I know she had a premonition of, I think, her mother's death, too. And speaking of mothers, my mother, this wasn't death, but it obviously was a life-threatening situation, and I'm not going to get into too much detail about it, but my mom was on vacation with her best friend when she was young. I want to say in her 20s or something like that. And she just, I think she was in Cape Cod or something like that, and just got this overwhelming feeling that she had to leave. She had to go home right then. She went home to find my grandfather, who I never met, on the floor bleeding. Cracked his skull on the mantle of fireplace, if I recall, and basically saved his life. So, that's an example I can give you of some of this. So I think I'll leave the portion of the presentation at that, and we'll head on over to the chat and see what you guys have to say. And we'll have some talks. If anyone wants to call in, I will open up Skype right now. Okay, Skype is open. Oops, did I do that twice? Let's see, one moment. Okay, so yeah, the Skype phone number is active, and if you have the app, you can also call me on that through my username, Forever Conscious Research Channel. I think you can even put in my email. For just quickly, for those who have about the Soul watch party. I'm still working on it. I don't want to, I know in the last few weeks I said, oh, it'll be next week and it'll be the following weekend. I don't want to leave a date out there anymore. I just kind of, there's so much there. I'm trying to get it done properly. So just hang in there. Everyone who's emailed me, I will definitely send you an email when everything's ready. I have it all set aside, ready to go. And I'll also do a video. So don't worry if you sent me an email and haven't heard back from me. It's okay. I will definitely get back to you. And if I haven't, I will also be putting out a video reminder through here. So prior, like at least a few days, if not a week prior. It's going to be on a Saturday, Sunday. For anyone new who's here who would like to join in the Soul Watch Party, which will be, I'll do like a commentary of the movie and explain the hidden truths and the in-your-face truths that are, not conveyed. Basically, the hidden truths throughout the whole thing. And how it pertains to the Matrix Reincarnation Soul Trap. Just email me, foreverconsciousresearch@gmail.com. That's foreverconsciousresearch@gmail.com. There's no channel in that. And in the subject, please put Soul Watch Party. So please do that so I can make sure that everything is organized and I know what's what. So the phone lines are open. Anyone who would like to call, you are more than welcome. And till someone calls, if anyone calls, I will now just head to the chat. I saw Lone Traveler says, FC, thank you so much for your heartfelt sharing today. I appreciate you. Also, thank you everyone for being here. Much love to everyone. Yes, much love to you too, brother. And thank you for your kind comment. Appreciate that. It's kind of weird, sharing some of that. It's not like, I've talked about some of that stuff before, but this kind of jogs the memory a little bit. It gets a little emotional. PKOSB, Deborah, Locker, Abdi, and Infinite Corridor. Hope you're all doing well today. It's great to see everybody. Ms. Ellie, great to see you as always too. Disintegral, aka Lee, great to see you as well, brother. You're just wrong about Cheryl, that's all. Cheryl's a lovely, lovely woman. And I trust her with my life. Abdi, I think I already said hi to you. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do, Night Sky, if you're listening to the rest of this, it was great to see you too. I'm Simon. It was great to have you with us as well. Always good to see you. So I'm just going to scroll up and just kind of look at some of the chat. I know some of you shared some experiences, so I would like to see, I'd like to read some of those. So if any of you would like to discuss some of your experiences, and you may have already typed them, I only have access to so much of the chat going back. So just feel free to just put, FC dash, and your whatever you wanted to share, and I'll read it and we'll talk about it. I'd love to hear what anyone else has to say, experience wise or anything, even just some of the content of the video. Did Infinite Corridor lose a cat? If so, I'm sorry if that did happen. I can only go back so far in the chat, but it looks like that happened. I have my condolences and much love to you and your kitty. And Anne says, such a mind fuck this place is. Thanks for sharing your experience. Joe M says, FC, thanks for sharing your personal story with us. It's never easy. Yeah, Anne says, I'm surprised that any of us are well adjusted living in this insane world. Yes. PKOSB says, thanks for sharing, FC. Yeah, you're welcome. Happy to share. Blistering says, blush away love. Suits you sweet. Bibi, great to see you. FC, you're a very sensitive person. Yes, I openly admit that. Okay, I got a call here. Let's hopefully we got this in here all right. Hello and welcome to Forever Conscious Research Channel. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. My name's Jared. I was in the chat. I'm the guy that the name is Infinite Corridors.
Oh, hey, Infinite Corridor. Nice to talk to you. How you doing today?
Yeah, pretty good. I've never called in before, but I've been subscribed to your channel for a year or two, and wanted to say a couple of things. My cat did actually die 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I wanted
brother.
Yeah, she had a long life, a good life. I was there. I comforted her during the whole experience, and the weird thing is I was saying in the chat, right when she took her last breath, there was a crow outside of my window tree and started calling, and I heard breath that corresponded with the
Infinite Corridor, I'm sorry, your connection dropped a little bit. You said it started crowing and then you kind of cut off a little bit. You mind just repeating what you just said, please?
Yeah, as the crow started calling,
Yeah.
I heard a voice in my head that said, "This is Sweet Pea," which was the cat. Your loving service. I am everywhere and I am one with everything. And I was like, what?
Wow.
But the thing is that I don't believe in going into a oneness after death. You know, because the supposed light trap and stuff. So I don't really have to think about that. But I want to, if there is a trap after we die, I want to try to maintain my sovereignty. But that experience made me think about some stuff. So
yeah, no, I'm sure it did, and I think all of this stuff is designed to tug at and manipulate our emotions. You know, because we're emotional beings, and we have these. You know, we also have these soul connections. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to the Life Between Lives series, but I mean, it's and even putting that aside, just the pre-birth memories and all of that, it's clear that we have these soul groups, and your cat easily could be involved in your soul group, as could, you know, obviously our close family members, our close friends, any sort of big interactions or memorable interactions that we have in life can, in my opinion, you know, work as part of the mechanism to keep us coming back. You know, it's an attachment, you know. I mean, I think really that's what it boils down to is, you know, we have these attachments. Like I've had dogs my whole life, and you love your pets, you love your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your mother, your father, you know, these attachments, whatever they are, whoever they are, they are some of the crux, the glue that keeps this matrix together. And I would say that the cat is no different. It's really important that, you know, we value, we cherish, and love all these great relationships that we have while we're here. It's just that when the time comes to cross over, and, you know, leading into death and at the time of death, that's when we just have to say, okay, we're done with all that. Because otherwise they'll just be used against us. So that's the best thing I can say on that.
Right. So one of the other things I was saying in the chat was I was asking people what based on their current level of understanding, if they were to die soon or unexpectedly, what would they do? And I think I typed a comment saying something about like total neutrality of mind and emotion, or no spirit too, or whatever, and just not even talking to anybody, no agreeing to come or go with any being or entity that you see, after you are aware that you're not in your physical anymore.
Yes.
And what do? Do you just go within yourself at that point, or do you just ignore everybody and just like look around, or what? I don't know.
See, I mean, the whole, in my opinion, the whole, what happens after this is really difficult to say. But the most important thing, and what I'm going to do, is assert my sovereignty, assert my independence at every step of the way. And basically, inside myself, I'm going to say, I am leaving this matrix completely, and will have sovereignty, free will, everything, within me restored, and I will, basically the equivalent of teleporting out of here. And what happens beyond that, unfortunately, we've been firewalled off from that. So it's tough to say what happens beyond that. But I've said in the past that I think the most important lesson we can take from this experience here is that we've learned a very, very valuable lesson. That there's nothing wrong with when we leave here and this realm and the astral sub-realms within inside this matrix, and we completely leave it, and we go, we chill, we go, meditate, and and aren't interrupted for a while, regain our composure, so to say, and then finally get the itch to want to explore and experience different things. I think the biggest lesson that we can all take from this, and it's a very positive lesson, is that we won't give away our sovereignty or consent to anything or anyone ever again. And if that is required to have an experience somewhere out in the multiverse, then it's in our best interest never to give that, even a sliver of that, away again. But it's impossible to say what's going on outside of there, because we've been so firewalled off from our true essence and what this the multiverse is all about.
No
No
memory. It's a mind wipe coming in.
Yeah.
We don't even know where we came from, right? So
unfortunately.
Can I just mention two things real quick?
Of course, you can say as much as you want.
And then I don't really have anything. Okay.
No one else is calling. So yeah.
It's not my channel, but I wanted to point people to one good channel that I found on Reddit called Delete the Matrix.
Okay.
And I don't know the guy's name or anything, but he has all these posts going back for however long. And two things that he mentioned on two different posts on there, on the Delete the Matrix on Reddit. One of them, he said you can go beyond the veil that separates this realm from the other realms at will, just by repeating the mantra, move beyond the veil.
Okay.
And so I tried that, and after about 20 minutes of repeating it, I started feeling like I was, like, I don't know how to explain it, phase shifting out or leaving this place physically, like my body or something. Something happened. So I stopped because I wasn't ready to leave yet. And that was an experiment. So, take it with a grain of salt, or try it or whatever. And he said that if you go all the way through the veil, you can't come back and you're gone.
Yeah, a lot of people. I've seen that quite a bit with people who astral project, have out of body experiences where they feel they have gone to like almost a border, and they feel that if they went beyond that border, that they would basically never be able to come back to their body, something along those lines. But the one thing I kind of realized with listening to William Ballman in particular and reading his books is he talks about how that really doesn't exist, that we can in fact go farther. Maybe what I'm sorry, what was his name again? Move Beyond the Veil or Delete the Matrix.
Delete the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the mantra was Move Beyond the Veil.
Okay. Right. All right. So yeah, Delete the Matrix says, like, oh, and you said, if you went too far that, you didn't want to risk it, basically, is how I'm implying
right.
it. Yeah.
Not ready to do that yet. Yeah.
So, take this with a grain of salt as well. I mean, William Ballman has been doing astral projection for 30 years, associate with the Monroe Institute, holds astral projection clinics, things like that. I'm not going to lie, I have some issues with him and the Monroe Institute with some things, but the point is there's this overlapping narrative that a lot of astral projectors talk about, where like you feel like if you went any further you wouldn't be able to return your body. William Bowman says that's not the case, that you are able to keep on going. The problem is more or less conquering those fear, or that that something inside of you that is preventing you from going that farther. And his mantra is, talk about going to higher self now. I'm more than my physical body, as Robert Monroe says, and Bowman says, higher self now, higher self now. When you're in an area where you're uncomfortable, or something's going wrong, or you're sick of seeing the scenery of flying above your house, or in this case the border of the Matrix, higher self now, higher self now. You repeat that mantra, and that's the best kind of suggestion I could kind of throw out there. Whether it would work or not, I don't know. I think it all comes down to us,
Yeah, I think it depends on like your level of beliefs in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
for sure,
on a deeper level.
Yep, I agree.
I would say so.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention one more thing. The same guy on the Delete the Matrix channel, along with the mantra Move Beyond the Veil, another mantra that he said he tested out, all you do is you say neutralize the force field, or neutralize the energy field of your body.
Okay.
And that actually, I guess, kills the body. And I was like, well, I'll try it. So I started repeating it, and after about 20 minutes, I got hot and sweaty. I didn't feel good, so I laid down to go to sleep. And every time I started falling asleep, I felt like I was dying. So I stopped saying it because it was doing something. So I think we can not just leave this place at will, but you can actually, with your mind, actually decide that you don't want to be here anymore, and just no damage to the body. You can just die at will.
Yeah, I think that is possible too. I do. That's the only thing I've personally suggested to people, besides obviously the darker
I'm not saying to do it. I'm just saying if you were like already sick or something with a terminal illness and you didn't want to suffer, I mean, maybe you could help yourself out. But
no, I think
it's his point of view for sure.
Yeah, no, right. And it wouldn't surprise me that you can literally astral project, to the point of exiting your body for good. It wouldn't surprise me if that was possible.
Right.
Yeah.
And then before I go, can you just tell me, you mentioned a few minutes ago when we were talking, what was the other section of videos that you were referring me to about something you said?
I'm sorry.
that
Can you
you did?
repeat that one more time? You kind of broke up.
Was there a group of videos that you already recorded on this channel that you were telling me about something earlier about like the soul Matrix or something? I remember what you said.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you saw it. It wasn't that long ago. It was a commentary on Michael Newton's book, and it's in the reincarnation. The Matrix Reincarnation Soul Trap playlist, but it's a study, 29 case studies of life between lives, Journey of Souls commentary on Michael Newton's book. He was a past life regression therapist. So it's a really long series. It's 6 videos, but it basically shows all these connections that we have and the amount of fuckery going on in the background to get us back into a body.
Yeah.
It's long, but it's worth a listen, brother. I'm sorry.
Cool.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. What did you say?
No, it's cool. The more I learn about this stuff, since nobody I know is like even interested in anything not of the Matrix, when I find channels like this, it blows my mind that things just keep getting deeper and more evolved and more involved, and I don't even know what to think anymore except to just question everything.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest point to this whole place is to question everything and re-question and question again, and views that we held, even a few years back that we were hell-bent on should be tested and put up to scrutiny and tested again and again and again, especially the ones like something like this. This to me is the king of all truths, and I don't think there's anything more important than this, and that's why I've kind of shied away from a lot of the other stuff that I used to cover. And even though I've been signed on to this, and I've fully been on board with it for a number of years now, it just came to the point where covering anything else kind of seems silly. It seems like if you can help people see this, then this is the most beneficial thing anyone can learn. And it's everyone can learn it. Everyone can learn it. The information's available to each and every one of us. It's just a matter of how dedicated someone is to, looking into near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, pre-birth memories, things like this with deathbed visitations, visions, premonitions. I mean, none of these people are questioning anything. They just blindly go. There's no account you'll run across where people are questioning anything. They just go with the flow, and there's like almost this hypnosis going on, and it involves consent. Everything is consent based. So I'm happy that you and anyone else listening has been gotten to this point, because it's a really, really rewarding area to learn. And again, like in my opinion, nothing else can be more important than this area of study for all of us.
I agree. Yeah. And I only ever heard of one near-death experience where the guy questioned things that, and he saw the quote-unquote the demiurge or whatever. But I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I appreciate you taking my call.
Do you mind telling me what happened with that near-death experience really quickly? What you heard?
The one where the guy went to the demiurge?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is this I'm sorry, go ahead.
The guy, you probably about this one. I think he got in a car wreck and saw a bunch of souls like in the big line, and there was like a big cube like in the solar system.
Okay.
And he was on his way back to Earth, back to his body, and the demiurge appeared like a white bearded old man with flaming hot eyes. he told him how he kept everything in perfect balance, and they're just weird. Like,
Was this
you know,
the
what
one
you would
that
expect
Dan
from
from
engineers.
Overwatch covered?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'm familiar a little bit with this story. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
just the same old thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
crazy. Well, I appreciate you
I'm gonna
calling
keep
in. Is there
watching
anything
your
else
show,
you
man.
wanted to add on to it? Or
No, maybe I'll call in again another time.
all right,
I'll
brother.
pay attention to your
Appreciate you
live
calling
streams.
in.
Cool.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
Have a
Take
good
care.
night.
Yep.
Thank you.
You too.
Okay, anyone else who would like to call in, you're more than welcome. The phone lines are open. Phone number is 979-272-4111. That's 979-272-4111. If you have me on Skype, I can also call you, or you can call in through that as well. Bibi? Yeah, Bibi sent me a message. Okay. All right, just we'll wait for see what Bibi wants to do. In the meantime, what I'll do is go back to the chat, try and figure out where I left off. Okay, actually, I left off at Bibi. FC, you're a very sensitive person. Yes. Oh, yeah. Blistering says, FC will throw me out if he reads all this. My hope is he'll just debar me from admin role. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I love you, sister. I don't know why you think that. Ms. Ellie says, our hospice nurse was amazing. Yeah, they are. They are. My father's hospice nurse was incredible, too. Ms. Ellie says, like I said, she came in on her day off to be with us. That's great. That's awesome. By the way, Ms. Ellie, if you'd like to call in and share your experience, that would be great. Unfortunately, I don't have much of the context of what you said prior because the chat kind of cuts off at a certain point. But if you'd like to call in, feel free. The number's at the top left of your screen. Bibi wants to call. Says she wants to share something with everybody. Okay. While I'm waiting for Bibi to get ready, I'll just go to the chat again. Joe M says, Anne, I'm surprised there's so many of us still alive. I feel like they now just want to rid of us sick and drugged as possible for the recycle loop. Yeah. Well, I mean, they dumb us down, they drug us up, they do all this stuff to lower us as much as possible so that we don't figure out the scam. I think that's the big thing. Infinite Corridor says, and thank you for calling, by the way, brother. So when we die or leave here at will consciously, we shouldn't agree or listen to any other beings and just go about on our way, right? What would you guys do at that point? Yeah, and we had a nice discussion about that as well. Okay. Okay, looks like Bibi's ready. Alright, so I'm going to call Bibi right now. We're going to get her on the line. What's going on here? Is this working? I don't know if I screwed something up or what here. Okay. I'll continue with the chat until we get another call. Blistering says, beautiful nurses. Indeed. And PKSB says, the nurse really cares. Yeah, the hospice nurses are incredible. I've had opportunities to speak with some of them privately, and the job they do is just awesome. Really beautiful people. Deborah says, infinite corridor. I plan on ignoring anything earthly, loved ones, pets, etc. I will state I wish to move past this plane of existence. Yes, Deborah. Well said. This plane and any subplanes related to here is where we've got to direct ourselves completely out, 100%. PKOSB says, I'm wondering the same. Ignore everyone, etc., because it's not really them. Yeah, pretty much. It's the weird thing is and I've kind of touched on this in the past, that what really could be going on is a couple things. We've got our existence here with these connections, okay? And for instance, family members, let's say, okay, pets, religious figures, okay? And we connect with them on a certain level, and all of that is recorded while we're here. That much has become obvious to me, that every moment of every day is recorded somewhere. And I think through some sort of, let's just call it a technological means, that memory is used against us. And then what also happens is the memory recorded of the loved one or pet or religious deity that is more, I actually should throw the religious deity to the side for now. But your loved one or your pet, all that information is recorded, and let's just say it's uploaded to some quantum supercomputer somewhere in the realm. And those really meaningful connections, the personality traits, etc., are used against us at the time of death. The same thing can apply to religious figures. Granted, yes, we didn't have a one-on-one experience with Jesus, or Muhammad, or whoever, okay? But we were told about the makeup of the person, okay? The makeup. Think of Jesus or Muhammad or someone like that as a almost like a supercomputer, like an overseer, okay, that spreads its knowledge, its love, its scripture to the rest of us. And in turn, it is used against us, okay? It's a familiarity that we are resonating with, that we love and adore because we were so attached to it. There's no difference between that attachment to Jesus or Muhammad or Buddha or whoever versus our attachment to our family, close friends, pets, etc. There's no difference. It's the same concept, and we just have to be mindful of that. The bottom line is that we just cannot have any attachments. Okay, Bibi looks like she wants to call in. Let me try giving her a call here. But you kind of get the point with the attachments. Hey, Bibi.
Hello?
Hello, how are you today?
I'm fine. Let me just give me a second.
Sure.
Please.
You're good. Yeah, so wanted to kind of touch upon while we're waiting for Bibi, how we're just we the connections are the linchpin to getting us back here, and keep in mind, if you were listening to the soul groups and all of the connections that we had with these groups, including something like our parents or our pets or even religious figures, they are more or less we're deeply embedded with those belief systems, and they come at us like a freight train at the time of death, and they just all must be shut down. So I'm sorry, Bibi, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hello, good to hear from you, sister. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm
Good.
fine. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
That's great. I'm having some troubles here with my computer, so I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, it's the connection's kind of low.
Low?
Yeah, it's like breaking up and seems a little low.
Let's see.
Like the volume.
Oh, and now?
Seems better. If you want to start sharing and talking, then I'll let you know how the quality is. But it seems better than it was.
Okay. Well, hi, everybody. I hope you are doing well.
Sounds good.
Okay. So, when my father got sick, he had cancer, and he went to at the hospital because he couldn't eat. So
I'm sorry. He went to the hospital and what?
my father, my dad,
Okay, yeah.
went into the hospital because he couldn't eat or drink.
Oh, he couldn't eat. Okay.
So I went there every day with him, visiting him and taking care of him. And one day, I was so tired that I said, my mother, well, I'm not going today. You give, please, you give.
Bibi, do you mind if I just try calling you right back? Because the connection's kind of bad. It's there's a lot of kind of some feedback and stuff. But we can, if you want, I'll just hang up really quick and just call you right back. See if that helps. Sometimes it does. And we'll pick up where we left off, where you were you skipped the day and had your mother go. So let me just call you right back, and hopefully that'll improve the connection. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, just bear with me one moment. Just in case it's on my end, I'm going to close and reopen Skype, and we should be right with Bibi momentarily. Okay, there we go. It's reloading, and then I'm just going to give her a call. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Oh,
Can you?
Oh, much better. Much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I was saying that my father was in hospital, at the hospital. And he was living his last days, months of his life in this crazy, horrible world. And one day I was so tired that I said, Mom, I'm not going to visit Dad today because I'm really tired. I need to rest my head, my body, my soul, my everything. And so I didn't go. At the night, I go in the evening. I go to the bed, and I'm sorry. I'm very slow, but I'm trying to remember what I.
No problem at all. No, you're coming through fine. No, the last time you shared, it was great. So yeah, take as much time as you need. No problem.
Thank you very much. So now I forget what I was saying. Okay. So I'm sleeping, and suddenly I wake up, and I stand out of my bed, and I'm going to the balcony of my room, and I sit there, and I felt my father's presence. So I say like this.
I'm sorry,
Dad,
you said what?
I'm said like this. I'm going to say what I did say.
Okay.
In that night.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
So I'm there looking to the stars, and I felt his presence. And I tell, and I said, Dad, you are here. No, he wasn't there, but he was communicating with me. So I say, Dad, okay, it's fine, it's okay, don't worry. It's time you to go. It's all right. I love you, and you
giving
don't
him like a
need
reassurance.
Yes, you don't need to worry about our family. I will take care of all of them. And so I was talking with him 20 minutes, something like that. And then I go to bed again and I slept.
Okay.
This was 5 a.m. when I was talking with my father. And at 7 a.m., I received a call from the hospital. So I don't I didn't ask what why were they why the person were calling me.
So you just knew, right?
Was calling me. Yeah.
Okay.
I just took my shower, and prepare myself and go catch the taxi and go to the hospital. Then the doctor said, I asked, because I wanted confirmation, so I asked, is my dad dead? Yes, he is dead. So I'm sharing this because I know for a fact that we are not only this stupid and heavy body.
We're not on this stupid what? I apologize. You kind of broke up there.
And heavy body. Heavy.
Okay. Yep.
We are not this.
No. Yeah, we're more than our physical body for sure.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. We are something else. And what we are cannot die. When I was visiting my father in his room, in his hospital room, there was a man laying in his bed. He's sick. He was sick.
So there was a sick man in the same room as your father?
Yes.
Okay.
A sick man with cancer also. And his wife was sitting there behind him. And with no words, I got this message. Okay. Tell my wife that I'm going now.
So so it sent a message to you.
Yes.
Okay.
But no words.
Yeah, telepathically. Yeah.
No sound, no nothing. Just I didn't know the couple. I didn't know the man. I didn't know the woman there. But I got this. Tell her I'm going. Yeah. Tell my wife I'm going now. And I look to his wife, and I'm trying to tell her, but I'm thinking she will say that I'm crazy.
Yeah.
How can so? I am thinking, how can I tell your wife you are going?
Yeah, so like how can you tell his wife that you're going and not have her think you're crazy?
Yeah, and she was there suffering, and some person she didn't know from anywhere telling her, so your husband is telling that you give him your goodbyes because this is his last day.
Yeah. So
I didn't.
how did she respond?
No, I didn't say.
Oh, you
I
didn't
could.
say. I gotcha.
I had no courage because
Yeah.
I. Sorry.
It's okay.
Last the day after, I'm going again to visit my father, and the the bed, the this man's bed is empty. So I asked my father, what happened to, because I didn't say nothing. I didn't say anything about this to anyone, to nobody. So I asked my father, what happened to your mate? Oh, he died this night.
I'm sorry. The father. You said what?
He said the man was dead.
Oh, so he knew.
He had died in that same night.
Ah.
Can you understand?
Yeah. So your father knew that he had died, and
My father knew because he saw the, the he saw the doctors
mm-hmm.
told him.
Yeah.
So and I got so confused. I asked myself, how can this be possible? And why? And why? And why? What can I do? Because I could do nothing. But I have a lot of stories like this.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do, and you use your best judgment at that time, and no one can blame you for that. You did what you needed to do in that moment. Not to mention you were dealing with your own father's issues, so and that the emotional impact that comes with everything involved with him. So it's okay, but at the same time, it's an interesting story because it shows that he was trying to communicate. This guy was trying to communicate through you to his wife.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
And that's more than interesting. It's very, very important.
Yeah, for sure.
People have to know that there is something more and greater than this life
Than
and
this
this
body, yeah.
body.
Yep.
And I can go on and on and on, but
Well, if
I'm
you'd like
gonna.
to share another story, it's up to you. If you, it's totally up to you. If you need to go, that's fine too. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Well, I'm not sharing now the
Okay.
other stories because
Sure.
it's all the same.
Sure.
It's when I'm going to sleep.
Okay.
They came
No problem.
and
Yeah.
I talk with them and I just tell them it's okay, don't worry, go.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
But I want to share with all of you something that I think it may help us all.
Great.
It's a kind of a mantra, a little mantra. I don't like mantras because I never know what I am saying.
What's behind them? Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
but this one I think we all can understand. So
Sure.
before you go to sleep, my friends, Um, maybe, well, I'm doing this, okay? When I'm going to sleep, I always say this. Listen, I want to separate myself from the God Creator and His Earth creation. I want to separate myself from the matter and time. And time. I separate myself from my body and unite myself with my spirit. I want to release my spirit. I want to be my spirit. I am my spirit.
I love that.
So this um, I feel this little mantra can help us
Sounds like a great mantra.
because I feel like um, when you are saying this to you, you are opening uh, some kinds of you are opening a road, a path, a way for you when you one day we all are going to die. So if we remember, like the man I told you and my father, um, uh, they were in their bodies, but some part of them were already connecting with the source or something like that.
Yeah, I
And
think they're kind of the one thing that comes up a lot with these deathbed things is it's like they have one step in the physical and one step in the afterlife. You know, the astral, so to say. You know.
well, that's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important. Uh, it's my point of view, of course, um, to say that this mantra, because when your soul or your spirit, because for me, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, spirit and soul are not the same.
No, they're not. I agree. They're completely separate things.
Because the soul is like our body.
It's a driving force for this existence, and it carries over into the astral subrealms. You know, that are related to this existence. Our spirit is our true essence.
Yes. I love you for that. Yes, because our body is equal of our souls. So our bodies are matter.
Matter
It's
based.
our souls crystallized, density. Uh, a crystal, you know,
Yeah. Yep.
when a crystal is something very not small. Okay,
Excuse me.
our souls are have the same shape of our bodies. Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's a representation of the
yes,
soul.
it's equal.
Yeah.
It's identical. But our spirits are prisoner. When you are in a prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's.
Uh,
I think it's trapped. Our
uh,
spirit is trapped inside, and very limited, within the confines of the body and the brain that act as a governor for this experience that we're having, and then it also, again, because of the whole consent issue of us giving ourselves away to something else in exchange for this experience, as well as the experience inside of the astral subrealms that are related to this place, it dampens our spirit, our true self, and basically takes advantage of us. But when we really boil it all down, it's our own fault because we consented to it. It's not to say that we were not, tricked. It just means that, unfortunately, when you boil it down to the brass tacks of everything, our consent was given in exchange. And it keeps us quarantined, like, dare I say, quarantined to this existence in the astral subrealms. So we need to reclaim that our spirit, our full, true essence, and never look back.
our true essence is our true. It's it's. Let me explain a little thing. When the soul is created by the demiurge,
Mm-hmm.
the creator, the evil creator of this
Of this
world.
place, yeah.
Okay, so the soul is its creator, is its creation.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
And the purpose of the soul is to please his creator. But the spirit don't want to be here.
Yes,
Does not
correct.
want to
Yes,
be here.
yeah, and you can see that across society. You can see that in the book that I did the commentary on. You can see that in near-death experiences. You can see that in out-of-body experiences. You can see that. I mean, you can see it across the board. That there's always this narrative talking about how I want to go home. I'm going on a trip. I want to get out of here. Near-death
Yes.
experience is constantly talking about going home, and and when they come back, they feel disgusting. They feel gross. They feel
Yes.
like they're in this low density environment
And
that is a
depressive.
material existence.
Yes, and depressive because
Yeah.
it's not it's not us.
No, it's not our true self. It's foreign. It really is. It's hard to stomach it all, but
It's
it
a
is what it
shit.
is.
I'm sorry for the word.
No, don't be sorry.
Is literally what I said. And let me just only say one more thing.
Please do.
It will not be easy to don't be captured again, because this creator God, he is very, very, very powerful. And when we go out of our bodies, when we die, there is this uh, energetic field, magnetic, uh, very, very strong. So it will be not easy.
It's weird because I agree and I disagree at the same time, and kind of where I'm at with this is that we are think about all of the tricks that they have to play, Bibi, on us to get us to buy into this bullshit. Okay, the tricks are endless. I think the power that the entity or entities have inside this realm and the sub realms are pretty low. I don't think they're as powerful as we think, because everything is based on inversion, deception, manipulation, cunning acts, and also, emotions, ego, just general like feelings, and all this effort is put in to trick us. If they were able to, if it was easier, they wouldn't need to necessarily apply all these things. You know what I'm saying, sister? Because I don't think the power is there that we might think. I'm never gonna underestimate it by any means, but if you think about how many people who have actually figured this out, there really aren't that many, and they've done, the system has done a great job, above and below, with taking advantage of us and using deception as a means to to get us to incarnate again. And I think it's as simple as us asserting our sovereignty and getting out of here as quickly as possible. I also don't think that we should be wasting any time when it comes. I think the sooner we realize, the sooner we connect with our knowing that of what we took from this incarnation, once we pass over, will serve us well. And I think it will be almost instantaneous. Now, can I say that for certain? No, but
it's in the blink of the eye.
Mm-hmm.
You have just a blink of the eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We just need to fight the illusion. I mean, the illusions cannot be allowed to present themselves, and we have to deny them at all costs when that time comes. Now, if someone doesn't know this stuff, that all these games that are being played, all these tricks, all this deception, all this manipulation, then they're pretty much fucked in all sense of the words. But I think for people like us who know, who have been studying and researching and digging into this stuff and know within our heart and spirit that this is what's going on here, I just don't think they have much power. But I certainly won't put it aside and say, oh, well, that's, I'm not going to take any chances. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
So I'm not undermining anything that you're saying. I'm just saying I don't think they have as much power as we think. And I'd like to keep it in that headspace, because the less power that we give them, or it, or whatever the hell it is, the better. Yeah. That's just my opinion on it, though.
Yes. And in my opinion as well, people should be preparing themselves now, because
Yes.
denying the things of this world, not all. I'm not saying that you should deny your mother, your son, your friends, um, but it's time to start to deny the most things of this world.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think testing, at the small level to the big level, and I've also said that I think knowing what your biggest weaknesses are here
Yes.
is really, really important. And oh, excuse me. For instance, for me, it's my dog, it's my partner, it's some of my family, the typical connections that most people have. But should I, first thing I think that's really important is that we should take away some value with kind of what was discussed in the video today with the deathbed visitations, the visions, the premonitions, all this stuff. If we're fortunate enough to have these communications, we would have a warning. We'd kind of know, okay, we're hitting the road here. We're getting to the end of the road here. And now it's time to get really freaking serious and not take any chances and work on this disconnection process, at full steam ahead. But that's not to say that shouldn't be worked on now. I mean, it really should. I think being brutally honest with ourselves, with these attachments is right now is very, very important. There's no fear narrative involved with that. It's just a matter of calling it like it is and not taking any chances. In fact, I'd even say that part of working on this would be wanting to make sure that we have premonitions, that we make sure that we get these type of clues, these hints that our time is coming up, that we're headed towards, bodily death. Because if we can get these advanced warnings and send them out there, and a lot of people get these warnings. This is very, very common. Whether people listen or not is something entirely different. But a lot of people get these premonitions and knowing that their time is up. Or the other big thing is that everyone should really be paying attention to is if like a family, a loved one, someone close to you says something weird, like oh, I had a dream that you died this way, something weird happened that way, and pay attention, because if we're not getting the warning, we really need to make sure that we're listening to what other people that we're close with are saying and take them extremely serious to help with our preparation.
Yes. And one more thing.
Sure.
People who, when someone has a near-death experience, and then they come and they go to the YouTube, and they are telling their story. Oh, that is so great. Oh, I told my story in one of your videos, but I wasn't dead. I was awake. I was there, but I knew it. I was here at the same time.
Ah,
But this doesn't mean that I wasn't uh,
supposed to.
a mistake. Maybe
Okay.
it was a mistake. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what happened, but these people, um, uh, they are telling their stories with all their 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 hearts,
Mm-hmm.
and they are telling, oh, God and Jesus, and and it was so wonderful. I know it's wonderful because I felt it.
Mm.
But then they came, they tell us this, and I'm sure that this is uh, this has a propósito. Um, they are like messengers
Mm. Yeah. There's
from
always these underlining messages for sure.
the hell.
Mm-hmm.
Not the people.
No, no, the message being conveyed. You're saying, right? Yeah.
Yes, and we all listen to these people talking about their beautiful experience out of body, and like myself, I did it. But the message is, look, you go, and there is so beautiful there that you just listen. That when they are telling you, that when they are telling you, you have to go because you have things to do. It's not your time.
Yeah.
This is mind control.
Yes. Yes, it is. And in the near death experiences, like you were just mentioning, the
Mm-hmm.
the key takeaway with all of this is you will hear. I am going to go out on a limb and say 90 I would say 99% of the people I have read that talk about coming back, that they didn't want to come back. Over and over and over again, you will hear people say in these experiences that they didn't want to come back, but they were told that it wasn't their time, or that the other big thing that they're told is that, oh, they're on a mission. They're on a mission.
Yeah.
They have a mission to complete. It's
Yes.
all
Yes.
freaking mind control, like you said. It's
Yes.
mind control. The
Yes.
in the thick of things, and these people, they also claim that they're all knowing. I'm sorry, they are not all knowing. If they were all knowing, they wouldn't, they wouldn't need to be asking the question in the first place. They wouldn't need to have past life regressions if they knew their past life. I mean, they wouldn't need to. I mean, there's so many things we can throw up against the wall and say, okay, it's clear that they may be being told that they're all knowing. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's fragmented memories, fragmented phrases, fragmented almost like scripture being thrown at them in a way
Yes.
that is, almost like, it's like a script. It's this is what we're going to feed you. These select scripts, kind of like how the Bible's out of order, and it's misinterpreted over and over and over again. But the real meaning, basically you have to go back to the source, which people never do. You have to figure out that the damn thing is out of order in the first place, and it
It's
means this, but it doesn't mean that, and it says this, but doesn't, but it means that, etc., etc. It's the same exact thing that's going on here, that's going on up there when people are having near-death experiences.
and I can relate with these people because I know exactly what they felt and what they are talking about, and I'm very furious. I'm
Yeah.
because I know I was I don't know the word I was shit. I was
Okay, so you said you were furious and
anger, not to deceive it,
oh, deceived.
mistake.
Okay, deceived. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So what I did was I cut in my astral. I cut my connection with those beings.
Mhm.
I cut uh,
That's great.
above my head. I just cut that connection
That's great.
because I said, if you don't want to tell me what you told me, I'm cutting you from my spirit, from my life. I don't want to have nothing to do with you.
Hmm.
And well, that's a long story. So I thank you, FC.
I thank you.
Thank you very, very much for the work you are doing because you are a very sensitive person.
Hmm.
I can feel that.
This is true. Yes.
And we need people like you exploring this subject because there are very too much people sleeping, and we need uh, information, and we need to not be alone because that's one of the things that I feel very, very much is I know how it is to be alone in this kind of conversations.
Yeah.
So I
It's
thank
tough.
you very much.
And I thank you for sharing everything, and thank you for your kind words. And I think all of us, I see a lot of love. I see a lot of compassion. I see a lot of empathy in the chat. I may not be able to respond to it all the time, but I can see, what I do see is incredible. And I think there's a lot of love here. There's a lot of compassion, a lot of empathy. I know I'm repeating myself, but I think that's really important because what's going on here is it's horrible. It's a disgrace, and
It's terrible.
if I had my choice on how I would handle it, I would shut the whole damn thing down, in a second. But I realize that, and I'm sure many of us have that. That's not something we can do. I don't think that's something any one spirit can
Hey,
do.
we are the last timers.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's a solo journey, but it's also in this group a collective journey, but with a solo intention.
Yes, I'm in war with these all of this we are passing through uh, from millions of thousands of millions of years ago, because this is not happening just now.
No.
And I am finishing now. Thank you to all of you. who are thanking me. I'm here for you if you want
And
to
thank you,
share.
Bibi.
And thank you very much.
And I appreciate you calling in. It was really great what you shared. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you all. Bye bye.
Much love to you too. Have
Much
a good night,
love.
sister.
Thank you. You too.
Take care. Okay. So, probably have time for possibly like one more call for 10 minutes or so, and if no one calls, then we'll probably wrap it up from here. I want to thank Bibi for calling in. That was awesome, and I look forward to hearing more on what Bibi has to share with us. And I just want to say a good night to Deborah. Thank you, of course, for joining us as always. And yeah, it's just it's amazing the group of people that we have here. We've all reached this point. Simon was pointing out the other day, it's incredible how this is where a lot of us have reached. This is kind of like the end of the road with digging, and it's a good feeling, right? It's a good feeling that we all have gotten to this point. So yeah, I'll probably just take a quick look at the chat, and if no one calls within the next minute or so, we'll probably wrap it up. And okay. Lone Traveler says, Bibi, thank you, much love. Yes, Lone Traveler's got an interesting journey. Very interesting journey. And just quickly, anyone who has emailed me and I haven't gotten back to yet, my apologies. I promise that I do respond to each and every email. There was a period of time I wasn't feeling well, and then I went on vacation, so I'm backed up probably like over 4 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe even longer. So, but I always make it a point to respond to everyone in due time. And in order. Okay, so let me just check here. Probably gonna, let's see. Infinite Quarter says, originally the internet was going to be called the Ethernet because it operates through the ether that flows all through and around everything here. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, we have Ethernet cables, Ethernet ports, but that's a great comment. And then also have all the pretty blatant signs of ancient power sources too, which in my opinion seems cut and dry, but what do I know? If I can't prove it, it's tough to see. If I don't see overwhelming evidence, but I mean the overwhelming evidence with the Tartaria folk would be, the receivers, so to say, on the top of the buildings, etc., and how that would tap into the ether. I think the whole thing with even planes is interesting. And how they may, especially like the big commercial planes, and how they likely run on some sort of free energy with them likely, not saying they are, but likely being propelled through some sort of compressed air to get them off the ground. And then once they're in the air, I don't know how that all works. I don't know. But I found it interesting, what they say, how much jet fuel it takes to fuel a jetliner. And when you look at how many gallons it requires, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but when you look at that and what they claim should be put in there with the size of the plane, and that the fuel is actually going in the wing or the wings, it's pretty ridiculous. And then you have the luggage compartment below, which takes up tons of space. How the hell could it possibly fill however many gallons that they claim? And again, I apologize, I don't know off the top of my head, but there are these obvious things that we have been tricked and manipulated with over and over and over again. All right, I think I will probably leave it at that. I appreciate everyone for their comments, for the calls, and special thanks to Infinite Corridors and Bibi. Always appreciate anyone that calls in and shares their story, their views, their opinions, their everything. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is just kind of close out the stream with a countdown clock of about 5 minutes, and then I'll exit it completely. So if there's any last minute things in the chat that you guys want to talk about, just so it doesn't cut you off abruptly, you'll be able to do that, and I'll pop in there briefly, and that'll be about it. Thanks again, as always. I very much appreciate each and every one of you. Much love and blessings. Stay safe out there. Remember, this is our last time. Hashtag last timers. And we will be liberated from this place. See y'all again real soon.